7 o'clock on February 24th, 2021. I call the order of the City of Miami Gardens City Council meeting. Mr. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Campbell.
Present.
Councilwoman Iguodaro.
Present.
Councilwoman Wilson.
Here.
Councilwoman Julian.
Present.
Councilman Stevens. Here. Vice Mayor Leon.
Present.
Mayor Harris.
I'm here. Please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
God, our Father, we thank you for your grace, your mercy towards us. God, we thank you for this opportunity of another chance at life. God, we ask now that you bless us, that you give us your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding. Father, we thank you for holding your leaders of this city in your hands. We ask that you continue to hold us and protect us. God, we ask your many blessings upon this city that we call Miami Gardens, and we promise to give you all the praise, honor, and glory that your precious name deserves. It is in your Son, in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're on approval of the minutes. Everyone had an opportunity to look over the minutes from January 27th. I need a motion to approve the minutes. Motion. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? There's no opposed. We're on order of business. Are there any items that need to be pulled or added?
Through the chair.
Yes.
11.5. I want to pull it.
11.5. I see we have two add-on items too.
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
Clerk.
you do have two add-on items. The first one is add-on item number 1. This is for the Miami Gardens Small Business Initiative Program. Without objection, we can add this to the consent agenda as item 11.11.
11.11. Any objection from the dais? None, seeing that there's none, show it at it.
All right, the next add-on item is add-on item number 2. And this is for the Black History Month Drive-In and Vibe Movie Night. Without objection, this could be added to the consent agenda as 11.12.
Any objection from the dais on 11.12 being added to the consent agenda? Showing that there's no objection, show it at it. All right, we're on special presentations.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Can we get a motion approval to
I'm
approve the
sorry.
agenda as amended?
Need a motion on it.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, but signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show them all amended.
All right, we're
Special
now on to
presentation.
special presentations. Item 6.1, Florida Power and Light FPL Underground Utilities Program. And this is sponsored by the city manager.
Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. As most of you know, we have been undergoing some changes in regards to FP&L and hardening the system throughout the city. So I've asked Mr. Ruiz to give you guys an update on where they are with the project and how they're moving along throughout the city. Thank you.
Mr. Ruiz?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Tom Ruiz, Public Works Director. Tonight, I'm here to present a FPL pilot program. And a program is called the Storm Secure Underground Program. Again, it's a pilot program. And I know at the beginning, when you get a pilot program doing things in the community, on this program, there's no additional cost to any resident or property owner. And you will see why at the end. So FPNL decided that they would, since they've been hardening all the overstructure of the big power lines, they have gotten to a point where wind is a problem when we have trees and blowing debris. So with that, they said, you know what? A lot of residents, what happens is that they lose power because of trees and flying debris. So they want to do something, be more reliable for residents and also for themselves, because then they have less to restore. As you can see here, and you guys have seen it all over the town, where FPNL have been raising and hardening all the high power lines, which eventually goes into the community from there to lower the power through transformers to the houses. As you can see here in Hurricane Irma, there was a lot of damage when trees go down. They have been doing a very great job in going through the communities and doing a lot of trimming of power lines in the back. However, it gets to a point where you're doing this every other year and it becomes very expensive. So I think this program is going to be good for the problem that we're having with trees falling on power lines and people losing their power for weeks, because they're the last power to get restored. They always restore the higher power lines that are coming to the community, and then they go down all the way down to the residents. Again, going underground power performs well, doing every day in storm conditions. So it becomes a better reliability. It reduces power interruptions, because due to vegetation, they have problems if you have a tree growing right into the power line, what happens is the wind pushes the wires together and create short circuit, and people lose power and transformers burn out. And this also speeds up restoration efforts. Now, the initiative started in 2018 and continued up to now, doing these underground for the residents. They've been going from neighborhood to communities and dealing with the customer, and they have great communication and getting the job done. Now, what the criteria they use to identify what underground areas they need to do is they actually go and see the past. Sometimes some areas are always going out more than others. So what they've been doing, using that criteria, the outages on the power line due to the vegetation, because there's a lot of trees that grow around there, and also the performance of power from day to day. So as you can see here on the left, you'll see the power line coming in from the power pole in a transformer to the house. That's the normal way that power goes into your house. And then on the left, you have a pole that doesn't have the transformer anymore. So as you can see, there's a pad mounted transformer on the ground. And then from there, it goes to the house. So all the wires go underground, so you don't have any way of power being interrupted by falling trees or any flying debris. Now, they also use a machine, because you think, okay, now they're going to dig up my yard. It's going to become a restoration problem. Well, there's a directional boring that goes under the ground, and that's how they do it. They restore very little, maybe at the end where the pipe comes out. As you can see here, this machine goes underground, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, because the 5G fiber that's going in right now through a lot of areas, they're using this machine to go into the right-of-ways, so they don't have to dig up the whole city. And they're using the same concept. Here we got two things that they use: the equipment for doing the underground. They have the transformer, and they also have a handhold, which is just a box to splice wires. So these are the two things that they use to put the wires on the ground. Now, to date, they have done 25 customers in 2019. They've increased it in 2020 to 230 customers. And then this year, they're doing 320 customers. And this will continue on, because as they're doing it, they're also checking out to see how it works out throughout the years through the hurricane season. So they can't do it all at once, because it is a big expense, but they're slowly continuing. It's still a pilot program, but it sounds like they're going to continue doing this, and it's a win-win. I mean, I would love my house to have that wire underground, and it would cost me thousands of dollars just to do it. But with this, they're doing it free for the customer. So here's something already done. You can see in the front, the pole, they still have the pole. They cut the top off because those are the AT&T and Comcast wires that still stay there until they probably be able to put them underground later on. But as you can see, the transformer right in front of their house, at least it's better than losing power. And it's just something that needs to be done. And so with that, I also put a map in front of you with the different work they already have done these areas, and they have spread it all over the city. And you can see the areas where like 2019, where they did certain areas, and 2020, and now they're going to be doing 2021.
Thanks,
If
Tom.
you have any questions,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Tom,
sure.
question for you. Do we know how long this pilot program is going to last? I am in full support of this. I think this is an amazing a program, an initiative rather to improve the quality of living for residents, especially during hurricane season. And I was just curious as to how long the pilot program is planned to last, because I would love to see more residents power undergrounds, a little bit more faster than what we're seeing now.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to keep on going. There's one thing about this is when a resident loses power, FP&L loses money because the meter doesn't go around because they're not using any power. So if you have 1,000 houses that are not using power, that thing is not moving around, they're not making money. So I think as they move forward and have this, you have more. They're still making money when there's a storm coming through without them going down.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the dais?
Yes, through the mayor.
Go ahead, Shane.
I didn't hear a response to his question. How long what's the turnaround time? Is there a specific?
They didn't tell me how many years ahead, but they said this project's supposed to continue on
Okay.
past this year.
Thank you. And my second question is, who determines or what areas is determined to gets this service, to get the FPL to come
Yeah,
in?
the criteria to this is when they harden areas, what happens is the feeder lines, which is those big power lines that are in concrete poles, those, when they upgrade those, as they go into the community, they're hardening as they go right into the house. Some areas haven't been done because they're still hardening the areas, and they're picking those areas as, like I said before, as performance of the actual power day to day. Any big vegetations they have in the back where it could disrupt power at a certain time. And those are the ones that they want to do because they're spending money in trimming trees off the power lines. But they trim trees, but still in a couple of years, they grow again. So it's more expensive for them if they don't keep this going.
Yeah, when you say they, who are you referring to?
FPNL.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
My question follows Councilwoman Campbell's, and that is the determination of the communities. And also, I know that some of the neighbors or my constituents have called me when FPNL has been doing work in the area. And many have felt, they didn't know what type of work was being done. They were unsure how they were going to be impacted, the whole 9 yards. So is there a notification to the neighbors of the work to the community of the work that's being done?
Yes, and they go from house to house, whoever is going to get it, they work out the time and everything just to get it. Let's put it this way. They started in 2019. I didn't hear a word out of FPNL doing this. They're not restoring this. And I was surprised because of that, because normally agencies, they come in, they destroy, take off, and then Public Works is dealing, trying to get who has to come back to restore. And we have not gotten anything, any of that complaints that we get because of this project.
Okay. But the question is there a notification to the neighbors where the work is going to be done of what is being done? Because they see it and they're really not sure what's happening in their community. And I think the key for us as we are making improvements, whether it's with our lighting, whether it's with underground cable, whether we're improving the affinity boxes, that the people understand what is happening in their community. They see, but they don't really know. And so is there anything that's going to either be mailed, or are you saying they go door to door?
Yes, they mail them out, and they also work directly with the customer.
Oh,
Yeah, so with this program, that works. I'm not saying all the agencies do this, you know, sometimes we have to get involved as they go through our permitting. We tell them they have to notify the area. And they'll sometimes, well, most of the time, they'll give us a template of the letter that goes out.
Any other questions? No other questions? Everybody hearts and minds are clear? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
All right. On public comments, are there any public comments?
Mr.
Mr.
Mayor,
Clerk.
council, no, we don't have any pre-registered public comments, or have we received any written communication, or do we have anybody physically who has come to City Hall for public comments?
Showing that there's no public comments is closed. We're on for ordinances for first readings, there's none. Ordinance for second readings, there's none. We'll go on to the consent agenda. Mr. Clerk?
Consent agenda. Item 11.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Mayor Rodney Harris Special Events Account in an amount not to exceed $5,035 for law enforcement assistance, no pro tunc, to February 7, 2021, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Mayor Rodney Harris. Item 11.2, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Vice Mayor Reggie Leon's public affairs account in an amount not to exceed $500 to support Miami Norland Heights PTSA, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Vice Mayor Reggie Leon. Item 11.3, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, recognizing Black History Month during the month of February 2021, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Shannon Aguadaro. Item 11.4, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, recognizing the month of March 2021 as Women's History Month, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Shannon Aguadaro. Item 11.6, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city clerk to execute and test respectively that certain agreement with the United States Department of Justice for the acceptance of the fiscal year 2020 Edward Byrne grant in the amount of $55,958 to fund the Miami Gardens Police Department professional compliance software. Authorize the city manager to execute any and all documents required by this grant process, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by city manager. Item 11.7, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorize the city manager to issue purchase orders to Safeware Inc. for the purchase of a closed circuit television camera solution for the Senior Family Center by relying upon County of Fairfax, Virginia's contract number 4400008468 in an amount not to exceed $169,170.44, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.8, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, approving a change order to the agreement with ENCO LLC for additional architectural engineering services associated with new community center design at Bennett Lifter Park. Authorize the city manager to issue a change order in the amount of $207,802.06, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.9, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorize the city manager and the city attorney to take any and all steps necessary in order to vacate a right-of-way located at Northwest 156th Street and Northwest 30th Avenue, attached to as Exhibit A, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.10, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorize the city manager to execute the letter of agreement and contract with the Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, in parent, for the Florida Bicycle Pedestrian Focus Initiative, which is attached here to as Exhibit A, accepting the $24,148,000 grant award, authorize the city manager to execute the letter of agreement and contract and any other addenda for additional years, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, approving the Miami Gardens Small Business Initiative Program to aid small businesses, authorize the city manager to execute any and all documents required by this grant process, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Julian. Item 11.12, a resolution of City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city manager to utilize funds budgeted for city events from fiscal year 2021 that were canceled due to COVID-19 to cover costs associated with hosting the Black History Month Drive-In and Vibe Movie Night, February 20, 2021. No pro tunc, providing for instructions to the city manager, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date. And this is sponsored by Vice Mayor Reggie Leon, and that is your consent agenda.
So you said 11:09?
11:09.
Mr. Clerk, the councilwoman had an issue with 11:09. Madam Attorney, can we go back? I guess she needed a question on 11:09. Do we go back and,
Well, you're gonna have to entertain a motion to now pull it, Mayor, because it was on the consent, so.
could you make a motion to?
So you're gonna pull it and put it on the regular.
Okay.
Motion.
Okay,
It's your motion.
I'd like to make a motion that this item be pulled and put on the regular agenda. It was actually supposed to be pulled from the agenda. I think it might have been an oversight.
All right, I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Show it pulled. 11:09.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mayor, I need a vote for that motion.
We need a vote on the motion. All in favor of pulling that item 11:09, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show that item pulled.
Yeah, and now we need a motion to approve the consent.
Need a
As
motion.
amended.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Show the consent agenda passed.
All right, we are now on item 11.5. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds from Councilwoman Shannon Iguodaro Special Events Account in an amount not to exceed $5,000 in support of the 2021 Women's Conference, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Shannon Iguodaro.
This item was pulled by Councilwoman Campbell. Councilwoman Campbell, go ahead.
I have two questions about the funds that are being requested. Are they to fund the panelists that's going to attend this women's conference and guest speakers? That's my question.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead,
this
Councilwoman.
item is in support of Women's History Month. I'm hosting a two-day virtual women's conference on March 26th and 27th. We have assembled a cadre of speakers for the health and economic empowerment segment of the two-day event. We are also hosting a youth summit as part of our effort to encourage and inspire our young girls. We have identified 21 leading women in our community that would be honored as part of this important celebration. I'm asking the council to support this item and move the item.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. You had a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Councilwoman, is this a conference in support with another organization, or you're facilitating it from your
I'm
office?
facilitating it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You had a question?
Yes. Again, I'm gonna ask the same question. So are the funds that's being requested, is it to pay for the panelists or guest speakers? The program itself? I just need clarity because I'm trying to understand.
We have put together, I thank you for your question, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thank you. We have placed a tentative agenda. And so over the 2 days, once the agenda is finalized, certainly it would pay panelists as well as go toward other items to make sure that the conference is successful.
Thank you for
You're
clarifying.
welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
You had questions too?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
And so it's a 2-day virtual conference. So what is the breakdown of the $5,000? Because it's online and it's 2 days online. So what is the city actually paying for? other than the panelists for
Mr.
$5,000?
Mr. Mayor? Thank
Go ahead.
you. Like I said earlier, that the funding will be broken down for other miscellaneous certificates, awards, the panelists. So it will be broken down throughout the course of the 2 days. On the first day, we will be speaking, having a virtual speaker, guest speaker, and on the second day, we will be doing a youth summit.
So why are we paying folks to come and speak at a conference? Is what
I'm
I'm trying.
sorry?
Why are we paying folks to come and speak at a conference?
It's a virtual conference.
But why are we paying them to speak?
I know my time is valuable. I'm sure others' time is valuable as well. So we are paying speakers to come.
Mr. Mayor? You finished? Ms. Count?
I have another question. Is this virtual women's event going to be open to the whole Miami Gardens community?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, and how can the residents participate?
We're putting together a flyer. So it will be sent out by Public Affairs, and we will be at least requesting that Public Affairs assist us in getting the word out.
Okay, and how are the residents going to benefit from this conference?
March is Women's History Month. Miami Gardens. Within Miami Gardens, we have professional women, and I believe that this conference is going to be a benefit to them, as well as our emerging young women in the community. So this conference is aimed toward showing them the benefit of being empowered and certainly allowing them to participate even in the midst of COVID-19. So it has to be done virtually.
So what's the benefit?
I just said the benefit is to the women of Miami Gardens. We are in Women's History Month, so they will benefit. It's a health and wellness conference.
I have another question, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
What's the value to the taxpayers? Because I mean, if we're spending taxpayer dollars, I just want to understand what the value is for our taxpayers, because we do have a responsibility to make sure that we spend the taxpayers' dollars correctly. So I'm trying to understand what is the tangible benefit for this 2-day virtual conference?
Like I said, Councilwoman Julian, we are in the midst, March will be Women's History Month. So this conference is aimed directly at empowering women within the city of Miami Gardens. A part of the conference will focus on health and wellness, and it will also be able to engage our young women on what it means to be emerging leaders. So they will benefit from the conference.
I don't have any further questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor? Vice Mayor?
Well, two parts. Being that this is benefiting the women of the city of Miami
Yes.
Gardens, I make a recommendation that all the council women be a part of this event.
Absolutely, I would love to.
And so that way we can unite all the women. So somehow, some way we should, since this is city funds, we should incorporate all of our council women into this. Also, if you look at item 11.1, I think this is what they're asking about. Under the fiscal impact, there's a breakdown on the money that the mayor is actually spending. It's 1 sergeant, 5 officers. It's a cost associated with that. And it's also at the end, a reflection of how much money is left in his special accounts budget. Same thing with my item in 11.2 is a breakdown for the $500. And it's also a breakdown on what's the balance of the fiscal impact that'll be left in those special accounts. So I think maybe that's what they were trying to get at when it came to asking the questions on how the dollars should be spent. So it's easy to just include that into your fiscal impact, so that way you won't have that problem at the
Thank
end.
you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, any other questions from the dais? I need a motion on this item. I move the item. Showing that there's no second.
Wait, I'm sorry. If you move the item, so are we voting on the item or are we not voting on the
Yeah,
item?
we're gonna vote.
Oh, okay.
I made a motion to to proceed with, I need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I'm
No,
opposed.
I oppose.
Mr. Mayor.
I need it.
Just for clarity for the record.
Yeah.
May I request for a roll call vote on this one?
Yes, let's do a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Wilson,
No.
Councilwoman Iguodaro,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leon,
No,
Councilwoman Julian,
No.
Councilman Stevens,
No,
Councilwoman Campbell.
I want the record to show that I'm for a women's conference. I'm for that. It's for clarity. That's why I asked my question, because I didn't know what the funds was going for. I'm used to seeing it itemized. That's why I asked my question, and thank you for clarifying what I needed answered. So I'm gonna say yes.
That's a yes.
May I speak on it? Okay.
Mayor
She
Harris.
stated yes. I vote yes.
Motion fails. Motion fails 3-4.
So the item failed.
All right, the next item we have on agenda, item 11.9.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I don't mean to interrupt the city clerk, but I would like to withdraw 11.9 and bring it back another time.
Are there any objections to?
It's his item.
It's my
He can
item, so
pull
I'm
it at
withdrawing.
any
I'll take it.
time.
All right. Well, show the item pulled, withdrawn.
Items withdrawn, duly noted.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. In concern, in regards to the women's history, I mean, the women's, what was it? The conference. It's just a recommendation to me. If you can come back and put something together with all of the council women involved, maybe have a sunshine meeting, and that way we can work on something together as a collectively as a city. I think that might be more easier.
I agree.
All right, but item already failed, so she could bring it back at another date
Correct.
with whatever corrections that they use. No? Well, this will have to be a brand new item, correct? So she'll have to come back with a new item.
One of the reasons why I didn't want to vote on it right away or voted no is because I would like to see it in writing so that for our constituents who may very well have questions, they need to be clear about where it is that this is going. I do know that this is will be a great event. That is not my concern about the event itself. My concern is the public accountability and accounting of those funds. And so if that can be presented with a little bit more specificity, I think that would ensure that there will be no further discussion about the issue once it's done.
Well, we gonna move on now because the item has failed.
No, but you know what,
So
that was.
she's gonna have to bring back another item, and then we'll open that back up for discussion again. The item failed, so we moving on from there.
All right, Mr. Mayor, there's no items under resolution. There's no items under quasi judicial. We're now on to the reports of the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk.
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor, I have two reports. One will be given by the chief of police, and the other one will be given by the public affairs director. Thank you.
Chief, you have the podium.
Good evening to the council, the mayor, city manager. There's two things I want to bring before you. Right now, as it stands, we are currently at minus 37% decrease in crime, which is really, really good. And we continue to trend in the right direction. Also, as you know, we recently were trying to get accredited. Our department worked very, very hard. And I want to bring three people before you. Commander Lieber Simmons, Sergeant Buddy Hunholtz, Training Assistant Garciela Marriott. and also my command staff over there. Audrey and Robert. In January 2019, the Miami Gardens Police Department applied for its initial law enforcement accreditation with the Commission for Florida Law Enforcement Accreditation, with a goal to receive accreditation status by the end of 2020. Commander Taliba Simmons established an accreditation team who worked diligently to ensure that the goal was met. An accreditation program has long been recognized as a means of maintaining the highest standards of professionalism. It requires an in-depth review of every aspect of our agency's organization, management, operations, and administration. It also serves as a yardstick to measure the effectiveness of our agency's programs and services. Sergeant Buddy Humholtz assumed the role of accreditation manager and oversaw the entire accreditation process. Ms. Garciela Maria was an indispensable asset to the team as she assisted Sergeant Humholtz in gathering hundreds of proofs of standards to ensure compliance, updated policies as needed, and ensured the brick and mortar aspects of the department were functioning correctly. In order to achieve the great distinction of accreditation status, our department was required to comply with CFA standards, with written documentation, policies, directives, logs, reports written by the department personnel, internal reports, files, memorandums, audits, training materials, and files, personnel interviews by assessors, observation, and static display. On February 18, 2021, during its first accreditation hearing, the Miami Gardens Police Department was recommended and approved for its initial Florida Law Enforcement Accreditation. This group right here, outstanding, outstanding. I know a lot of times I get a lot of credit, but it's the men and women of the department, sworn and non-sworn, that every day do the work. I'm just the face of the department, but these individuals are the ones that did the hard work. They overcame barriers and pressed through to a successful end, while incurring additional assignments, remote work schedules, long work days during the COVID-19 global pandemic. And this is to go along with their regular assignments. They did all of this. They are commended for their work, dedication, and selflessness, commitment to the city of Miami Gardens. Their professionalism and attention to duty is acknowledged and appreciated. I'm so very proud to be their chief, and thank you for an outstanding job well done.
I want to take this opportunity to say thank you guys as well. You did a tremendous job and we appreciate it. And we look forward to all this great things that are about to happen with the police department. So thank you guys for working diligently.
Just on another note, sir, Grace is getting ready to leave our department.
Grace, where you going? Grace, where you going?
We just want to wish her well.
Grace, where you going? You can't leave us, Grace. You can't leave us. They paying you more money?
And I just want to like to say thanks to my city manager, and I say my city manager because he supports me all the time, and I really appreciate all his support that he gives me in order to get the job done. So thank you.
Grace, we want to thank you for your service here to the city of Miami Gardens. We appreciate it. And let us know before you leave. Might have to talk to the city manager. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Mayor, I know where she's going if you want me to know.
All right. Well, Cam, keep us posted on that.
I will.
Keep us posted.
Good job.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tamara Wagley, Assistant to the City Manager for Communications. I'm providing an update tonight on our All-American City designation. As you all know, we got the designation last year, August, in the height of the pandemic. And being sensitive to what was going on in the world and particularly in our community, we really didn't do a whole lot to promote it, that we had this designation, which is a really prestigious honor for the city. So the city manager charged us that now that we're coming on to a year of the onset of the pandemic coming in March, you know, we can look back and tell people that despite all the challenges of last year, Miami Gardens remained resilient, without sacrificing quality or services to our residents, and we were able to achieve that. So starting next week, you will see an active rollout of the All-American City designation for the city of Miami Gardens. You'd have already received a few things from us today. We're gonna have billboards, newspaper ads, a radio campaign. We'll have messages going out to the staff and also to the community. One of the other things that we're also doing is that we're working with the front-facing departments of the city to kind of go through, do a self-analysis on the departments to see what is it that we're doing well, where can we improve, and how can we really embody being an all-American city? And you will see that translated in a strategic plan that the city will also be bringing forward to the council. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you.
Good job, Tamara. That's it, Mr. Manager.
Yes, thank you very much.
Madam Attorney,
No report, Mayor.
Mr. Clerk,
No report.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. My report is as followed. For the record, I would like it to be known that I am in support of women and youth empowerment. But before I was able to vote on it, the item needed a little bit more clarification. My report is as followed. I would like to thank everyone, my colleagues, and everyone that came out and supported the lunch on us, the Black History Lunch on Us at Lorner's. This past Saturday, we gave out over 500 meals. And we were even able to deliver some to the vaccination site at Carol City Park that was coordinated by our County Commissioner Vice Chair Gibbert. On this upcoming this Saturday is our upcoming citywide bike ride with Break the Cycle. I invite everyone to come out and participate. For those of you that have become pro cyclers like our Vice Mayor, and then those of you that have your bikes hanging up in a garage like our mayor.
Good.
I encourage you to come out and have a good time with us. This Saturday, check-in starts at 8:30 at Betty T. Ferguson, and we would take off at 9:30. And then following that Saturday on March 6th, we would have our boot camp with ICANN Fitness as we bring our fitness challenge to a close. You can find information about both upcoming events on our city webpage, as well as our social media as it relates to registering and more details regarding each event. I would like to say thank you to our police department for the hard work that you all put in. I truly believe that we have the best police department in all of the country. So thank you all so very much for the work that you do. And I also want to publicly acknowledge public affairs. For the past few weeks and months, you all have been working very tireless to make sure we get the information out to our residents and meeting our demands. So I thank you, Ms. Tamara, and your team for the work that you all do. That ends my report, Mr. Mayor.
Just remember what your mother told me. Remember that. Councilwoman Iguodala.
No report.
Councilwoman Gill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to thank Vice Chairman Oliver Gilbert's office and the Vice Chairman himself. We were able to secure $60,000 for the No Small Business Left Behind initiative, also known as the Miami Gardens Small Business Initiative Program. I would also like to thank our Miami Gardens staff for all of their assistance. Our staff is just wonderful. I'll say it again, our staff is just wonderful. They are focused and they have worked diligently and always are so willing to do what they can for the community. And I've seen that for the last 3 months that I've been on the council. You guys work hard. So I have to give credit where credit is due. You know, during my campaign, I promised to focus and do things for the community. I recognize the value of helping our small business community thrive. I have 4 years, and this is just the beginning of this 4-year commitment. Residents, business owners, and staff, if you have any ideas that you would like for me to consider, please reach out to my office. We would be honored to hear from you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Ms.
Mayor.
Campbell?
I want to say, as we sit up here as council persons, we all are looking for residents in our community to serve on our committees. And I appreciate my colleague, Linda Julian, for posting and advertising that, because I've been getting a plethora of calls, so I appreciate you putting that out. And currently, I'm looking for residents to call my office at 305-622-8000, and my extension is 2796 if you're ready and willing to serve. But make sure you're ready to work, okay? I must put that disclaimer out there. And in particular, I'm very interested, and I am going to activate the progressive young adults. I'm very passionate about it, I'm very serious about it, because we need to engage our young people. And I'm gonna be that vessel that's gonna get that party started, because I'm very serious about that. There's a lot going on with our young people, and we need to make sure we're getting their mindset, shifting it, and preparing them for what's ahead. Amidst of what's COVID, it changed everybody's life, but we got to get serious about working with our young people. And it's going to take us to do that. And I'm ready to work. So if you have young persons that are ready to work, get active and engaged in the city, in this process, learning in the ins and outs of the city and amongst the city, anywhere. We're going to go neighboring communities like Miramar, Miami Lakes. We're going to network. Call my office, 305-622-8000, extension 2796. And that's all I have.
2796. She about that business. Councilwoman Wilson.
Thank you. This Saturday will begin our second round of work in Leslie Estates, number 4. Those of you that know me know that I am a huge proponent of code enforcement, law enforcement, and our public works department. To me, in those departments, they are the lifeline of our city, and they give us the reputation that we truly are a city that is made up of gardens. And so part of what I believe in is that no matter what your economic background is, that poor or rich does not mean dirty. And so cleanliness and orderliness is a real important factor in my tenure up here. And I want to continue to ensure that we clean our neighborhoods, that our homes are kept up, that we have legal vehicles that are parked and that are used, and that the residents in their homes are those that are used to live in. And so part of what we're going to be looking at as we go forward is really making sure that code enforcement and our law enforcement and that our residents are on point with ensuring that our community remains an all-American city. And we will work together seamlessly to ensure that. Leslie Estates is a project that we believe in because we believe in those residents over there. And we want to ensure that the rest of our city is reflective of the cleanliness and the orderliness. I'm also proud to say that with the vaccine that we this month, under the leadership of our co-chair, Vice Mayor, we're able to get many residents vaccinated, well over 100 or so. At Jesse Trice, and they did an incredible job in providing transportation for many of our seniors who were unable to get there and receive their shots. And so we want to encourage everyone, especially those with underlying conditions. If you need a shot, if you have a fear, talk to your health care professionals who can help you understand the value that a vaccination may hold in your total health and well-being. Also, movie night for Black History Month was a great celebration. It was a wonderful night with families coming out and being a part at the Betty T. Ferguson Center. And I will just say, I have to give a shout out to Mr. Clay, along with the Parks and Recreation Department. Our parks are bar none, one of the best in this county. They are always clean. Even when they're under construction, you can't find no paper around them. Okay, but I call them voila moments. It's almost like they have all of the paper around them, and when those sheets go down, you're really proud of what you see. So the Parks Department, the work that's been done to bring our parks and our facilities up to par, once again, and that park staff, the kind of service that they give is bar none. Okay, and then my final comment is that we have Mother's Day coming up. We have Juneteenth that is coming up, and both of those are very significant days. And I would I ain't studying. I would like to offer to my colleagues on this dais for us to join together to celebrate and have some praise and worship for our ceremonies and the things for our mothers in May, and then to celebrate Emancipation Day, which is Juneteenth in June. And if we can come together, let's have a great event.
Father's Day also.
Did you say Father's Day?
I sure did.
Okay, and Father's Day, right? Thank you.
You sure you're done?
Oh, and hey, May starts.
You're done. Done.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Good evening again. First of all, I want to just thank all of my colleagues up here with the vaccination process. We've been able to vaccinate over, I want to say over 700 of our senior citizens right here between Antioch Church, Jesse Trice Center, Carroll City Park, and the Fountain. And those have been going on almost every weekend. We have a vaccination site that's geared toward our residents. So I just want to thank my staff because we've been collecting names, holding names. Thank you to Mr. James Poe, Tamara LaBruce. As they communicate and hold those names, we'll be busing another batch of senior citizens over to Jesse Trice tomorrow to get their second shot. And if you just hear the testimonials of the people that's getting the shots, they're very excited. This is only phase one, because as we move into phase two, the age restriction goes down. So there'll be more people to actually come. The vice chairman sponsored an event last Saturday at Carroll City Park. And with 48 hours notice, right, Mr. Poe, we had people lined up at 11 o'clock at night. This was one of the first sites that you can, we know that our community our seniors don't have access to internet or know how to use the internet for some of them. So this is one of the very first sites that you didn't need to make a reservation for. You can just walk up. It was drive-in and actually physically walking up, and they registered you on site. So to be able to execute that in 48 hours was amazing. So again, hats off to you guys, and we got a lot of work to continue moving forward. Also, I want to thank the clerk's office for a wonderful retreat that they put on a few weekends ago. We were able to come together. The majority of us were able to come together and share some ideas and thoughts and in a way of bettering this city. And you guys did an outstanding job, Onika, Lashara, Mario. So thank you for that. Also, the drive-in movie. Again, we have an amazing staff here. We come up with these thoughts and these visions, and you guys sit down with us and bring it to life. And I want to thank the council for being a part of that, everybody that put a Black History message out to our city, and we're able to have that voice. So thank you to Tamara and Tanya and Latavia and Onika again for putting that together, the police department. Just the comments that we heard out there alone. It was one of the ladies, she brought her parents out. They're about 80 years old. It's the first time they were able to get out of the house in a very long time. And they were very happy just to walk to the bathroom, the nice clean bathroom with no paper in it, right, Katrina, the councilwoman? Yep. So I just want to thank you for the hard work that you put in. So we look forward to continuing the work. We have a lot of vaccine work that needs to be done that will be happening. We have some forthcoming items, but thank you for all your support. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I don't have much again to say this evening, except that all of us are saying the same thing. I think our staff is exceptional. I think our police department, if not the best in the United States, they right up there. You guys are tremendous. And I just want to take this opportunity and this time to just thank all of staff for all the hard work, commitment, and dedication that you guys have in helping us to make this city a great city. Council, we had a retreat a few weeks ago. Out of the retreat, we came up with some policies and procedures that we're going to implement. And so make yourselves available for this training. Make yourselves available for the training. Because in order for us to move forward, we got to put some things in place. So again, staff, thank you for all your hard work. And I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion.
Moved and seconded, meeting adjourned.